The curse is real. I'm now furiously regretting it. There are 3 things. The first is an incident in elementary school. There was a girl in my class named Fumika. She had shaggy shoulder-length hair, pimple-crushed skin, and a mouth that looked like a keyboard because of her baby teeth. Her unhygienic appearance, which I found physiologically unacceptable, and the way she looked at me through her thick eyelids were eerie and made me draw a line between her and Fumika. One day, I was horrified to hear from my friend Akira that Fumika and I had chalked our names on the blackboard. When Akira arrived at the school, the mutual umbrella had already been written, and he talked to a group of girls who saw it and were whispering in the back of the classroom. One of the girls who came to school early in the morning felt someone was in the classroom, so she hid behind the door and peeked into the classroom to see Fumika. With a smirk on her face, writing umbrellas. And on one side was Fumika's name. She had just written my name on the other one and was shaking her shoulders with a low laugh with her teeth bared. When I asked why Akira had left it there without erasing it, the girl told me that she was afraid Fumika would hate her for some reason, so Akira erased the mutual umbrella on the spot. I was surprised that Fumika was targeting me without my knowledge, but to be honest, it was more than that, and it gave me goosebumps. The rumor of the umbrella incident quickly spread throughout the class, starting with the girls' group. I was so uncomfortable that during recess, I asked Fko, what's your name? Fumika, don't write my name without my permission. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I yelled at her. Fumika turned over in her seat and made no slight movement, but the boys around her took offense. Fumika, you're so creepy. It's so dark. What are you, a stalker? They were taunting her with Fumika is so creepy. Give it to me. You're a stalker, and so on. From that day on, the way my classmates treated Fumika changed. Unlike in the past, when they just ignored her or talked behind her back, they began to bully her in earnest, openly abusing her, hitting her with a ball, and scribbling on her belongings. As for me, I was sure that it was Fumika's behavior that started the whole thing, but I felt bad because I had confronted her in front of everyone, so I just pretended not to notice and passed by her. Then, Fumika committed suicide. It was just before winter break, about 6 months after the bullying had escalated. He jumped down from a classroom on the 3rd floor and hit his head on the block wall surrounding a flower bed and died. Again, I could only watch from the back of the onlookers' heads. This was the first incident in elementary school. The second incident occurred in the fall of my 2nd year of high school. When I became a high school student, Fumika's suicide had almost faded into the corner of my memory, and I was leading a self-indulgent life, just enjoying my youth every day in a carefree manner. I went to karaoke with the same members and did moderate exercise at amusement stores. I was really mediocre at studying, coming and going with only mediocre grades. In the midst of this routine, I had my first girlfriend. Maki was a neat and tidy beauty with long bangs parted to one side, and she seemed to have taken a liking to me from the first time we met, and I was approached by her quite a bit. So I confessed my feelings to her, and she readily agreed, and we became a couple. Maki always brought a homemade lunchbox for lunch. Do you like to cook? I'm rather good at it. I can start cooking tomorrow if you want. Oh, really? Akira, who I had known since elementary school, called us a couple and teased me about being a couple. She asked me, hey, do you have any bad memories? Suddenly, Maki asked me that. For a moment, I thought I saw a glimmer of negative emotion in Maki's eyes, and I cowered my shoulders. I'm sorry, forget it. I was staring at Maki's well-groomed profile, wondering if something was bothering her. About a month into our relationship, I began to feel ill. Starting with migraines, I had difficulty sleeping at night due to my extreme sensitivity to the cold. To make matters worse, I had strange dreams. I am looking down at the space where I am just standing. A voice repeats like a broken tape. I wake up every time to a figure writhing at my feet, arms outstretched, trying to cling to my legs. A body on fire with night sweats, soaking wet sheets, and a headache that rang a bell were all the worst sleep awakenings I ever had. Since then, I have continued with my daily routine, starting with nightmares and then eating Maki's home-cooked meals. Spending time with Maki had become a source of comfort for me. But my peace was soon to be destroyed. "Hey, you remember Fumika?" I said. "Fumika?" One day, Akira suddenly mentioned Fumika's name in a conversation, and I couldn't help but ooh and ah at his dumb face, but it instantly brought back memories of my old elementary school days. In my brain, I associate Fumika with her appearance at the time. Fumika what? No, something's been coming up in my dreams lately. You know, in the classroom in elementary school, you know, that thing with the umbrella? Oh, I answered vaguely. I was in a dream that I kept asking myself, don't turn it off. In my dreams, I keep telling him not to erase it, not to erase it, not to erase it. What's that? That's really scary. The very same Akira hung his head and laughed as if he was really upset. After school, Maki and I were walking down the hall from school together. I saw that Maki, who is usually very outspoken, was extremely quiet and somewhat absent-minded, so I took the initiative and asked her about it. What's wrong? Then, like a pigeon being hit by a pea shooter, I turned to Miko, who rolled her eyes like, what? I turned to Maki, who rolled her eyes like a pigeon being hit by a pea shooter. She rolled her eyes and said, no, you looked kind of down. I'm fine, though. I'm fine? I was caught up in the I am part, but I continued. I was caught up in the I'm part, but I kept going. I slowed down at Maki's words and looked at her suspiciously. I slowed my pace and gave her a suspicious look. It's kind of weird that all these strange things seem to be happening around me at once. I wondered if Maki was having nightmares, too, if she was referring to the dreams she had been having recently. I might have some weird dreams, she said. Maki too? Miko said, yes, I do. I have dreams, huh? I'm fine. As soon as I said that, Maki looked up and smiled, as if she had regained her energy. At that moment, Maki's smile reminded me of Fumika. Oh, I made too many cookies, so please eat them. Thanks. As we reached the fork in the road, Maki pulled out a beautifully wrapped pastry case from her bag and handed it to me. Bye, good luck. Oh, thank you. Waving her hand and turning on her heel, I watched Maki's long, flowing hair and stared at the candy I had received. I opened the package and found a piece of notebook with the words, "You can win a prize in this package," written in small, cute letters. I think again that this kind of small mischievousness is the charm of Maki. After dinner, when I was relaxing in my room after finishing my homework, I remembered Maki's cookies and, feeling hungry, decided to take one and opened the package. The sweet aroma of the cookies tickled my nostrils and whetted my appetite. There were cookies in a variety of shapes, including hearts and diamonds. I was particularly taken by the umbrella cookie, and picked it up. I had forgotten about the abominable umbrella until recently. But for me now, it is an umbrella that holds memories of Maki. I took a cookie smaller than my mouth at a time and chewed it. It was just the right amount of sweetness and crunchy texture, and most importantly, it was delicious. Just as I was thinking, that's Maki. Gulp. Eggshells? I took out the sound from my mouth, thinking that it was just an ordinary mistake for Maki, and that she can make cute mistakes too. It was a piece of fingernail. I stopped thinking for a moment. I don't know what a fingernail and a cookie means, and I can't think of any reason why Maki would do such a thing. I barely thought that he might have been injured while cooking, but there didn't seem to be any trauma, especially bandaging or otherwise. I cracked open the other cookies to check, but there was no sign of foreign matter other than the umbrella-shaped cookie. I concluded optimistically that I had just seen a different side of Maki. But after that day, my daily routine was disrupted. Fumika began to appear in my dreams. It starts with a space where I just stand there and I go about my school life as usual. However, a black blurry figure is always acting exactly as if it were camped next to me. At first I thought it might be Maki. But when I looked closely, it was Fumiko with a distorted expression on her face. Fumika smiles, showing her keyboard-like teeth, finally together. Even after I woke up from the nightmare, I got into the habit of checking my surroundings from time to time, as if I could hear Fumika's voice. I am relieved that no one is there, but I still feel dizzy because I feel Fumika's laughter ringing in my brain. And it was at this point that Maki began to be absent. When I asked a group of girls who were close to Maki, they only responded vaguely, saying I don't know or something seems to be wrong with her health. No matter how many times I emailed or called, Maki never responded. Thus, I began to be tormented by nightmares and frequently missed classes. The third incident occurred just before the winter break of my senior year of high school. I was so exhausted from dreaming about Fumika day after day, night after night, that I couldn't even take the entrance exam, so I narrowed it down to one school in the prefecture that I had no choice but to attend, and I stayed indoors without studying. But, as an extension of my dream, Fumiko was sitting next to me. I stared at Fumiko with my darkened, set eyes, and she returned my gaze softly from behind her thick eyelids. In the midst of these days, the phone suddenly rings. I look at the screen and see it is Akira. Yes. Oh, how are you feeling? Akira still worries about me. There is a minimum attendance requirement in high school, and I'm already running out of time. Akira always keeps me informed, telling me to come only when it's important for quizzes and exams. Maki, I quit school. Huh? I got up from the bed. I heard that Maki started coming to school as if by mistake after I started taking frequent vacations. However, Maki also seemed to be in poor health and kept leaving school early. He also said that because of his overattendance, his eligibility for the exam became questionable and he finally reported his withdrawal from the school. I just wanted to let you know, he said. Be careful not to take too many vacations. After I finished talking about Maki, the call with Akira ended. I was in a state of shock for a while, but then I called Makiko right away. I called Maki again, and for the first time in months, maybe even a year, I got through to her. Maki? I didn't know what to say, so I just told her that I had dropped out of school and that my attendance was in jeopardy. All Maki could do was respond with a yes and let me do the talking. What's up with that? I turned to Maki with my intention. I told her about the cookies from a year ago, and she began to cry over the phone. I'm sorry. After a while, Maki opens her mouth heavily. The truth is, it was Fumika-chan's revenge. Huh? I grab my phone with a stunned look on my face. I'm a relative of Fumika's and we've been close for a long time. But I heard that Fumika was being bullied at school, and I heard a lot of things from her. I remembered my forgotten elementary school days. He said that being bullied was hard. But being ignored by someone you love is even more painful. But he said his love was stronger than the pain. What are you saying? Fumika likes me? I remember that chalkboard mutual umbrella, and quickly turn around to see the vision of Fumika nearby. Fumika's mouth turns up at the corners with a grin. So, Fumika, since you knew so much about curses, I decided to lend a hand. Then Fumika-chan committed suicide right after that. Curse? Curse? What's a curse? A curse that allows you to be with the person you love forever. Fumika-chan told me how to make the person I love eat a part of me for 6 months. I had a bad feeling. You mean you're going to make me eat it? No way, no. What? I'm sorry. I was feeding Fumika instead of you. Maki then became talkative in her usual tone and told me the truth. The curse Fumika speaks of is to divide a part of one's body into 6 months and feed it to the other person. To die and leave behind unforgettable memories in this world. She said that the curse is completed when the other person eats the fingernail at the end. After Fumika committed suicide, a package was left for Maki, which contained Maki's hair, skin, and other things she did not understand, as well as a piece of paper describing the sequence of steps in the curse. Maki herself confessed that she had attended the same high school to carry out Fumika's curse out of a sense of justice that she could not forgive me for hunting Fumika down. At the time, she thought suck it up when she saw me gradually falling ill, but on the other hand, she seemed to have grown fond of me because we had been dating for a long time, and she gradually began to feel more and more guilty. When he was wondering whether he should hand over the finishing nail, Fumika began to appear in his dreams and whispered bitter words to him endlessly. I heard that Akira also dreamt about Fumika right around that time. I think she probably came to Akira's place to remind him. Fumika was upset that he broke up her love affair. Apparently Akira also held a considerable grudge, although not directly. So, Maki decided to complete the curse, and I was now spending time with Fumika's ghost. I didn't know Maki was into the occult. I didn't know that. Maki falls silent at my feigning cheerfulness. I don't believe in the occult. But I am actually seeing what appears to be Fumika's ghost next to me. I'm sorry, I think Fumika hates me too because I fell in love with you. Every night in my dreams, she told me to go away, and I got a little scared. To be honest, there was a part of me that was irritated with Maki for following Fumika's lead and carrying out the curse. But I was the one who started the whole thing. Because I rejected Fumika in front of everyone that time. Because I ignored her bullying. I am a scumbag who deserves to be avenged. What are you going to do if you quit school? Are you okay? Yeah. I'm going to get a high school diploma while helping my father, who is self-employed. With Maki's grades, she should have no problem getting it. I'm really sorry. No, I'm the one who's really. I suddenly hear an eerie laugh and I turn around. A frog-like, throat-crushing laugh. Fumika sat at my feet and looked up at me, seemingly pleased. Maybe. No, sorry. So long. Yeah. Thanks for everything, be well. After a short pause. Thank you. Bye-bye. And the call with Maki ended. I sat down on my bed, drooping listlessly. When I recall my encounter with Maki, I feel devastated, wondering if my feelings at the time were an act of resentment against me. However, I felt saved by the fact that she really liked me at the end of the day, even though I was unaware that she really liked me. I had to look at Fumika in front of me and smile inappropriately. I don't know if ghosts and curses are real. I still don't believe in them, and I have never seen anyone other than Fumika. But I think that the uncertain influence of ghosts and curses is harming my mind and making me hallucinate. The guilt is driving me crazy. The guilt of indirectly killing Fumika. Akira is guilty of erasing our mutual umbrella. Maki feels guilty for trying to put a curse on me. The guilt may be causing Fumika's hallucination. It would be correct to say that Fumika's curse is real. Hey, Fumika. How can I make amends to you from now on? I just couldn't move as I stared at Fumika's swollen face that was gradually getting closer and closer. This is the end of this story. Thank you for listening to the end.